Parashat Vaera. We're back. It's the 10 plague story. Here we go again. This is a fascinating perspective that I only just discovered this year. The plague of hail describes how the Egyptians who feared Hashem, had Yirat Shamayim, took their animals indoors. You think, really? You've been through so many plagues. Moshe Rabbeinu has threatened. Things have happened. Does it really take Yirat Shamayim? We think about a person who has fear of heaven, who's so careful and punctilious with their actions, always thinking about what they're doing. Is it right or is it wrong? That's a madrega. That's an achievement to be a Yirei Shamayim, someone who fears Hashem. These Egyptians who had been devastated in all the previous plagues, did they really, just because they took their animals indoors, that makes you a Yirat Shamayim? It makes you sensible, it makes you practical, it makes you someone who's realized things are happening in your country and it's not a joke, and therefore take the warnings of Moshe Rabbeinu seriously. Why should it be a spiritual achievement that the Torah points out? So here's an interesting perspective. I don't know how you've thought about the plague of hail. Perhaps we've all learned the Rashi that it was a mixture of fire and water, some strange creation. But the Torah text talks about the plague of hail will fall on your people, on your animals, on your fields. So where wouldn't it fall? If you take those words specifically as being an accurate description of the intent of where the hail will fall only on people, land, or animals, then presumably they won't fall on houses or structures. You can make that inference in the text. And therefore the suggestion is there wouldn't have been enough space in their homes to save their animals. But had they constructed a little shelter, some little rinky-dink little protection, then according to Moshe's own description of the plague, the plague would only fall on people, land, or animals, and it wouldn't fall on a shelter. They would be safe. And that's perhaps what's going on in this particular plague. The Egyptians built little shelters, not ones that could withstand ordinary things. They wouldn't have been strong enough to protect the animals in ordinary situations. But in this extraordinary or unordinary situation where Hashem was bringing a plague, the Yirei Shamayim, those who feared Hashem, those who took it seriously, had enough faith, had enough conviction that they would be safe even in a shelter that ordinarily wouldn't actually protect them. And therefore, on some level, that level of listening, even to that degree, the Torah rewards them with this description that they feared Hashem and that their animals and their belongings were safe. Think about ourselves. What in life do we miss? Do we justify actions? We always argue that we know better. We tend not to listen, not to pay attention. That seems to be the pattern of Jewish history. We forgot to listen to Hashem, or we justified why we could do it our way or do it in another way. Ultimately, life is better when we focus on the words of the Chachamim, or sages of the Torah, and live according with their dictates, and listen carefully to what they're saying. If the Egyptians are going to have Yirat Shamayim, we must too as well. It should be a part of the avodah for this Shabbat, should be striving to listen more, be more attentive to what we're being taught, to the messages that we receive from those that understand the world today, those that can guide us. If they can do it, we must do it. Remember, we're going to be called in a few weeks' time, Mamlachet Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh, Kingdom of Priests in the Holy Nation. We've got to live up to that national aspiration, our national definition. Shabbat Shalom.